So I like to do things that with redstone that don't necessarily that don't necessarily just use redstone, right? That's what I really love. So you say there's no concept of magnetism, but turns out that if you have a wolf and a sheep and they're separated by a wall and you move the sheep, the wolf's going to follow. So there are, I've made a couple of videos about this, but there are actually creative ways to do stuff like that you just have to think a little bit outside the box. So if you put that sheep in a minecart, you can control the sheep, and you can hide that behind a wall. I've actually had the wolf as a player avatar for a game. So you just got to think a little bit outside the box. But redstone interacts with everything in the game, and so you can actually sometimes do stuff like that.
Next question. You way back there.
How would you make something kind of like elaborate, like a piston door in a small amount of space?
Pistons, whenever you have two pistons to extend two blocks, one piston pushing another piston, things start getting really complicated. To a certain point, you can't prevent some of that bulk and some of that complexity. You can extend them pretty easily, but retracting them gets more difficult. When you go to 3 pistons in a row, it's really difficult. Everything that I've ever built in the world of redstone, a lot of people have looked at, and many times I'll see people optimize them. They find smaller circuits, smaller ways of putting things together, and I keep having to add to the world of redstone with new circuit designs because someone found, okay, if you just move the torch over to the other side and put redstone over the top, it saves you 2 blocks. So overall, it's just this process of trying new things, seeing what other people have built, trying out different optimizations. One overall technique, though, is a lot of people, when they start learning redstone, they'll build it flat because that's just sort of natural. It's almost like drawing on paper. But redstone is inherently 3-dimensional. When you build things higher, lower, up, over, around, you'll end up with a smaller construction in the end. So you have to make sure you're taking advantage of that 3D nature of redstone.
Well, I've actually found a way to make three pistons on top of each other a lot more compact. It's when we have them going periodical order up, and you have a piston powering you know how pistons can power blocks on the other side? I use that concept, but when you have the piston that's powering the block track, it doesn't power that block. So I've used that in the other order so that you only have to make it to the sticky piston on the second row in the middle. You just have to make that one up and bring it down so that the elevator can go back to the main floor.
I just want to say real quick, Minecraft Addict has a great channel that has like a billion different door and block switcher designs, so I recommend that.
Yeah, Minecraft Addict, he should be up here on stage too, he's awesome.
I love how Minecraft kind of leaps, like somebody will do something and then everybody else has a cool idea off of it, and it kind of leapfrogs from one idea to the next. If we called you guys the first generation of people who are kind of doing something, I'd like to hear what's something that you haven't been able to do, you can't do it yet, or if you don't want to answer that, like, what would you challenge out to the crowd? Here's something I haven't been able to do, I would love to throw down the gauntlet and see. There's so many young kids in here, what would you do?
Well, for me, I've always been trying, and I think this is because of the whole pistons and the power of the pistons, but I've always tried to make I don't know, like a trap that's not detectable on the ground. And I tried doing it, was a 2x30 strip. It was not my zombie fortress, and it was all not detectable. And I wanted the pistons to come down and it was lava mode underneath there. I've never got it to work because of the way the pistons power. Because when I did the the 3 strikes and you're out, I had to hide everything under walls. So when the pistons were like this, they came down and hid themselves under the walls here. But if it was grass, there would be no grass there. It wouldn't to work. Sorry.
Well, I'd say the biggest challenge would be to make a player trap that is absolutely invisible. So that's that would be the best thing. So killing people if you don't see it coming, that's great.
There's probably a lot of things. One thing I would like to see is 3D animations. People have done a lot of screens with pixels. I figured out how to do it with color on a map. It's pretty cool. But if you could do it in 3D, like right in front of you, it'd be pretty cool. But I think it's really hard.
I have one really tough challenge. This is way at the expert end of things. And Seth Ling and I were talking about this yesterday. I developed Instant Wire, and you talked about us. If we're the first generation, we're not the first generation. We're at least the fourth generation. Everything that I've made was built on someone else's design. And then when I put out a video, other people build on top of it. Instant Wire is very much like that. I was one step in a long process, and I was trying to get to an instant computer, to get instant and instant or and so on. I have a proof of concept, but no one that I have seen has actually made a fully working instant computer. And Seth yesterday pointed out exactly what the problem with that is. It's one particular technical detail about an instant OR gate. So anyone who wants to take on that challenge, I would love to see it. I would point people to your video if you had it, or if you wanted to show me your design. You know, it's a collaborative thing. I love that about Redstone, that there's all of these people who are building on each other's constructions and giving each other credit and sharing work. And so I would love to see someone take on that particular challenge.
Next question. You, right back there on the camera.
If there was going to be an update for a new Redstone item, what do you want it to be?
Yeah, we already had that question.
Oh.
Someone else? Green shirt?
Darn.
Okay.
Apparently, that question was already asked.
For your Redstone layouts, would you actually draw it out like an engineer, or are you just having in mind?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. I just go learn by doing. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll build it anyway.
For me, Minecraft itself, it almost sketches itself. I mean, if I want to say, I'm going to reserve this area for a circuit, I'll put a row of blocks around it in corners to show where it is. It's almost that Minecraft itself, it's so easy to throw something in that I really use Minecraft itself, so I don't sketch it out.
I also don't sketch anything, but being able to move around quickly in creative mode, I feel the same. You get around pretty quickly, and if you make a mistake, just redo it. Actually, I guess one thing to say about that is, sometimes I do use mods or MC Edit to move around components. So if I try and build something and I figure out I haven't left enough space, I can move around the components that I need to, and that's really useful for creating the service to work.
Now, you really don't need to draw out your schematics unless it's something really big, like 4 blocks, 4 chunks wide. I don't think you need to.
Yeah, there's no need to write schematic. You just start laying redstone, and eventually it works or it doesn't.
Next question.
Really quickly, Instant Wire is a system that lets you transmit a signal from one place to another instantly. Normally, if you have redstone, it can only extend for 16
Sorry if I'm
blocks.
getting them wrong.
15. Oh, I'm leaving the Japan now. I got that one wrong. If I can get that basic. So 15 blocks, and then a repeater, and then 15 more blocks. That will introduce a delay between the signal hitting the first section and the second section. It's a very small delay, it's a tunable delay, but it's a very small delay. But when you have something complicated like a computer or a video game, that delay adds up and makes your construction respond very slowly. Instant Wire uses a property of pistons that when they start out powered and then that power is lost, the piston retracts instantly. And if that piston retracting breaks a circuit, then that circuit beyond the piston also loses power instantly. that's the basic instant wire, and then that's been developed into much more complicated systems. You can also use block update detectors to do the same kind of thing, to transmit a signal instantly from